Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Jurassic World Chaos Theory video. It's been a short while since I've done one of these, as not much news has released for this show. But as we sit here eagerly awaiting the next trailer for this show, we'll go ahead and speculate a little bit more before we see more from the trailer. Again, the trailer is expected to literally be any day now. But it's any day now from today to the start of May, so who knows. I do suspect sooner rather than later, but again, this is the first season of this show, so it's very hard to actually work out when, if at all, the next trailer is going to be. Anyways, whilst we're waiting the trailer, we still have enough details to play around with here that allows us to be excited about it. That's why today, we're going to be identifying what species are most likely to appear in the show that haven't been confirmed quite yet. So, once you're ready, make sure you're sat back and relaxed, drinking your G Fuel after using code SWERVE for 20% off your order of your products, as it's time to learn what dinosaurs could appear in the next Jurassic series of Jurassic World Chaos Theory. Jurassic World Chaos Theory is right around the corner now, as it's expected to release right at the very end of May. So we should be getting a trailer sometime soon. But one thing that a dinosaur show must have are dinosaurs. Throughout Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, we got to see some new species enter the canonical timeline of Jurassic. Smilodon, Ouranosaurus, Monolophosaurus, Nothosaurus, Spinoceratops, and even Kentrosaurus. So we had a beautiful roster of new species. But with Jurassic World Chaos Theory starting a new story on the mainland, finding new species could be either very easy or very difficult. There's no in between. Thankfully, however, we already know of some species that have been confirmed, so we don't really have to worry about not having new species involved with this series. So before we speculate on species we don't know about just yet, why don't we recap on the ones that we do know so far? First off, the Tyrannosaurus Rex has obviously been confirmed, as we see it in the very first trailer we got for the show, along with an unidentified sauropod of some kind, as we see its footprints embedded within the road that Darius was driving on. We actually made a video about what dinosaur this footprint could belong to, so if you want to learn more about that, then please feel free to check out that video. Moreover, we have a tiny roster of new species that were shown off as toys from the Chaos Theory at the New York Toy Fair late last year, so we also expect them to appear in the show at some point as well. But for those who aren't aware of the species, what are they? Well, we have the Allosaurus, which has been confirmed thanks to recent packaging images of the show's toys that were revealed by the South Korean government quite recently. A Suchomimus is expected to appear in the show and has recently had a new model and colour palette on a new plushie that's due to go on sale later this year. Atrociraptors are expected to appear in the show, which could lead into the events of Jurassic World Dominion, set in the time frame to be before July of 2022. A Pachyrhinosaurus is also expected to make its debut in the Jurassic universe, but nothing has been revealed or even hinted at for this dinosaur quite yet. But not only that, the Beckles spinax, a medium-sized carnivore, is also expected to appear. Again, this dinosaur recently appeared on some toys that are expected to launch later this year. Not only that, but we also have a new baby Ankylosaurus expected to be the new companion. And oh man, what I know about this guy, I can't wait to see the audience's reaction on this one. But yeah, if I remember correctly, those are the current list of dinosaurs that we know have a high chance of appearing or have been confirmed for the show already. But what are some other species that we can expect that haven't been mentioned on this list quite yet? Well, while some of these species may be a little bit too obvious, we're going to try and use a little bit of logic to understand them all, rather than throwing them into the pit because they're commonly found within the franchise. So let's begin. The first species I want to talk about is the Metriacanthosaurus. The Metriacanthosaurus was a dinosaur that had a perfect opportunity to appear in the first 3 seasons of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. I still stand by the fact that it should have appeared rather than Ouranosaurus or Monolophosaurus, simply because those two creatures just kind of appeared out of nowhere, whereas the Metriacanthosaurus was reported to be on Isla Nublar for quite some time thanks to the external canonical website. So the disappointment of not getting to see it in Camp Cretaceous should hopefully carry on over to Chaos Theory, as it was a species that plenty of fans were calling for during Camp Cretaceous. Whilst it is slightly hard to explain how and where this species might come from exactly, it is still a species that I am sure will appear thanks to popular demand of the fans. But, once again, the Beckel Spinax might be taking the medium carnivore slot for the show rather than Metriacanthosaurus, but we still remain hopeful that it will appear nonetheless. Up next, raptors. But not just any velociraptors, the Jurassic Park 3 variants. But why and how, you might ask? Well, on Dino Tracker, we are aware of the Isla Sorna variants of velociraptors have made their way onto the mainland in Canada. But since this show has taken place in what seems to be California, why do animals in Canada mean anything? Well, it's actually been confirmed that a tail that we see in the foreground of the Malta black market scene for a very split second is actually a tail of an Isla Sorna Jurassic Park 3 velociraptor. With the Atrociraptors appearing in the show, we can assume that there could be some kind of link to Malta in Chaos Theory. So, in my very minimal theory here, there's a chance that the Jurassic Park 3 raptor tail that is seen in Jurassic World Dominion could be shown in full in Chaos Theory. After all, the fans really want to see these variants return once again and have an impact on the wider story of Jurassic. Not only that, but with how pivotal Blue was in Camp Cretaceous and the Jurassic World stories, then I can assume that Blue would also be returning in some capacity. Maybe not too large of one, but one that's just a cameo appearance nonetheless. Mosasaurus. Of course, the Mosasaurus is a big presence in the Jurassic World era of this franchise. It remains as the only officially cloned species as far as we know. Elasmosaurus and Plesiosaurus were sadly cut from Jurassic World Dominion, meaning that the Mosasaurus reigns supreme in this field. So why would it be returning? Well, through the months leading up to Jurassic World Dominion, the Mosasaurus is actually spotted off the coast of California multiple times, meaning that it's not too far away from the events of Chaos Theory. Of course, I do suspect that the campers have learned not to go anywhere near the water after their incident in Camp Cretaceous Season 4, but with how close Dino Tracker confirms that Mosasaurus to be, I am sure they'll try and play around with this story in some way. Stegosaurus, very much like the Mosasaurus, is reported to be on the west coast of the United States, meaning that it's close to California. Whilst I don't suspect that a very specific Stegosaurus from Dino Tracker will be appearing, we can assume that this well-known herbivore will be making its appearance in the show as a more herbivorous threat. After all, I believe that this species is one of the very first times we see an interspecies battle for dominance in the franchise thanks to Camp Cretaceous Season 2, so hopefully we will see a little bit more of that going forward. Pteranodon and or Dimorphodon. These two flying reptiles are everywhere, and I literally mean everywhere, ranging from South Korea and Australia to Spain and the United States. These guys are one of the very few species that are worldwide in this era of Jurassic, and it's pretty much an inevitability for them to appear. After all, we need an aerial threat in the show at some point, and we do see them at the end of Fallen Kingdom on the top of the Las Vegas Eiffel Tower replica. So they're out and about and will surely appear in Chaos Theory. Parasaurolophus. This Hadrosaurid is the importance of this genus. Throughout the franchise, Hadrosaurids have kind of been shelved and kept aside. Sure, we kind of have Edmontosaurus from the website and the Coryphosaurus for a brief moment in Jurassic Park 3, but the Parasaurolophus has appeared in every single movie and every single show. So I highly anticipate that they won't be stopping there with this dinosaur, and they also plan to have it return in Jurassic World Chaos Theory as well. Next up would be Nasutoceratops. Notably, the absence of Triceratops was felt in Camp Cretaceous, as they decided to have Sinoceratops take more of a screen time and have it replace the trike. I feel as though they'll be doing the same thing here with Nasutoceratops. As we are aware, the Allosaurus will be appearing in the show, and we can see that Darius is engulfed within the redwood trees of California. Now, whilst the forest is very vast and wide, I would assume that the writers are trying a connective role here and want to connect the events of Jurassic World Chaos Theory and Jurassic World Battle at Big Rock. So, the new Suchoceratops from Battle at Big Rock would make a ton of sense to appear in Chaos Theory. Not to mention that we also know little about its backstory and how exactly this creature was made so soon in 2019, 1 year after the genome spread across the globe in 2018's Fallen Kingdom. Returning from the last show, we have Spinoceratops. I'm not 100% sure on this one, but the Spinoceratops was one of the very first non-InGen hybrid dinosaurs ever made by Manticorp, and we only saw its infant versions in Camp Cretaceous Season 4 and 5. So why would they appear in Chaos Theory? Well, it seems ever so likely that Ben will be reappearing in this show, and we last saw him on Manta Island. This means there's a chance that the Spinoceratops of Angel and Rebel may be reappointed as the hybrid dinosaur of the show. I don't expect them to do much, but merely appearing as a cameo would be really good. To further add to this theory, Jurassic World Alive and Jurassic World Evolution 2 have gone ahead and created adult models of these dinosaurs in their video games, which could suggest, but not confirm, that Angel and Rebel would have grown up ever since then, and that seeing these adults in these games is to get us used to seeing them once again in Chaos Theory. Who knows? Leeching off the same theory here, Spinosaurus could also be making an appearance in some capacity, as it too was last seen alive on Manticorp Island. Now it's clear that Ben and May are looking after the carnivores on the island, as they asked for more meat from Sammy's ranch. But does this include the Spinosaurus? Well, we've all been asking about what happened to it after it was removed from Jurassic World Dominion's very early plotline. So unfortunately, his story is still unknown. But this gives even more purpose to bring him back in Chaos Theory. And lastly, but not least, the Dilophosaurus. The Dilos made a big presence in Biosyn's facility, leading me to think that they've been roaming Earth for quite some time now and may even be classified as an invasive species. With their return finally since Jurassic Park, they appeared in both Camp Cretaceous and then Dominion. So why not Chaos Theory as well? I'm sure we'll see these pesky little buggers again sometime soon. And there we have it, 18 dinosaur species that could show up in Jurassic World Chaos Theory, which is set to release in just a couple of months from now at the earliest. Whilst we still don't quite have an official release date just yet, we're still eagerly awaiting the end of May, as we do know that's the most likely date. Still no trailer just yet, still no trailer, but let's continue hoping for one to come soon. If you enjoyed today's video, then please leave a like and comment what dinosaurs you like to see in the comments below. Got nothing to comment? Well, why not leave the dinosaur emoji in the comments for the sake of engagement. Be sure you're subscribed to stay up to date once we know more about Jurassic World Chaos Theory, but in the meantime, and most importantly, make sure you're staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.